Hi, Noel. My name is Leo. I'm from Brazil. And I'd very much like to know, in your opinion, which of your solo tunes is the most underrated? I'd probably go with The Right Stuff and Black and White Sunshine, but I'd really like to know what's your take.
Was that a digital person?
Thank you, Leo. Leo's from Brazil.
He sounded digital.
Oh, what do you mean?
Well,
It didn't sound real.
It sounded like that. It sounded like Siri.
Tell us, what is your favourite song?
Yeah, like he's AI. Might have fans.
Leo's not a robot. My most underrated tune, I've got a tune called Alone on the Rope, which is a tune for the connoisseur. I rarely play it because it goes down like a knackered lift when I play it.
Right.
So every time I play it, I'm like, oh, people are going to love it. Because like 3 people on the way into the gig will say, you playing Alone on the Rope tonight? And you go, you know what? I'm going to play that tonight. And it bring the house down. Sadly, it never does. There's kind of like people like, what's this?
Didn't you say that you think people think it's about suicide and it's not?
Yeah, no, it's I wrote it after watching that documentary about Man on the Wire.
Right.
Man on the Wire, Alone on the Rope. I give it a little...
Man on the Wire, he's walking, but he's like
a tightrope.
Tightrope.
Yeah, tightrope
Right,
walker.
okay.
Have you ever seen it?
No, I haven't actually.
It's a brilliant documentary.
Was it between the two Twin Towers?
I think it was, wasn't it? I think it was.
Something like that.
Something like that. Some tall building. If he fell off, he would have injured himself.
Right.
But it's not about... Lots of people say to me, is that song about suicide?
About what other songs?
Yeah, yeah. And I always kind of weirds me out a little bit. None of them are about suicide. But I do get asked about that a lot. And another thing I get asked a lot is why some of these great songs end up as B-sides and why they're not on albums. And how is that not on an album? And the reason is most of them are written after I finished an album, and then you get to the B-sides, and then you get that moment where you write a great song and the album's already played, like, and then the reason why they're not on the best of is because I perversely like to leave tunes for people to discover for themselves, like a little Easter egg hunt, where people can go, hang on a minute, what's that? What's that tune? I've never heard that tune before. This is amazing. It's about suicide.
Does it annoy you if people like or not that they would tell you that your song's about, but people misinterpreting things?
No, because if it annoyed me, I'd tell them exactly what it was about. I don't mind people misinterpreting it because they're open to, because I don't really know what they're about half the time anyway.
Right.
I'm only fishing for the first line, and then everything follows that. I only really know, I'd say 75% of the songs I've written, I only really know what they're about once I've finished writing them, and I'll go, oh, that seems to be about sausages.
Are they all about something, or are some of them just...
No. I guess the ones that happen quickly, the ones that come all in one go, must be coming from somewhere. Something in your subconscious is expressing that. Whereas the ones that you chip away at, one line, some lines in the songs don't really follow the other one. They don't make any sense. But, but I'd say, to answer your question, Leo, from Brazil, have you ever been to Brazil?
No, never.
It's an amazing country. Really, like, far out.
Good crowds in it, South America.
The best. It's one of the things that I look forward to the most is going to South America. Brazil, Argentina, oh my God. I'd say if push comes to shove, probably the best fans in the world.
Really?
Up there, the Japanese are great, and the Italians, and of course you British guys are amazing, never forget that.
Who's bad? Who's like, oh God, we've got to go to that? Can't really say that, can you?
Never been truly accepted by the cheese eaters in Scandinavia. They've always had a problem with me, and Oasis.
What, so the whole of Scandinavia?
Pretty much, yeah. Never actually set foot in Finland as a band. I don't know what's wrong with you, Mob. You missed out, though. Never. Yeah, there was was never really popular in Spain either.
Really? I would have thought Spain.
I think it was the Parker. They were like, "Ay caramba."
What?
Why?
Why is he wearing a coat?
Why he wear a bedspread? They're on flip-flops and shorts riding scooters around it on a Tuesday.
You and Liam didn't wear parkas in Spain, surely. You didn't commit to the parka that
Well,
much.
I didn't, no.
He does love a coat, doesn't he, Liam?
A below the knee coat, yeah.
Fishtail parka.
Yeah. I've always thought I've been photographed in them, okay. I know that, I get that. Never felt comfortable in them. I'd wear one, not like the fishtail parkas are awful, but I'd wear a similar kind of thing to Glastonbury if it's...
Aren't they military... They're sort of army clothing, aren't they?
It's something to do with Canadians, isn't it? The Canadians. I don't know why they've got a fish's tail, though. I don't know what that's all about. But anyway, if you ever get the chance to go to Brazil, check it out.
Yeah.
Wonderful place.
Food's amazing, probably.
The food is... I went to a bar once in the 90s in Brazil, and it had, you go to bars with a bowl of nuts or mints, maybe. This had bowls of condoms on the bar. Oh, what a night.
Bit chewy.
What have fucking got balloons in this bar for?
After about the fourth one, I grew to love it.
Right, let's play another tune. I'm going to say we play Dimples by the Del Reys. I like this tune because I like the way the guy sings the second verse. It makes me laugh out loud. Do you want to hear it?
I want to hear it. And we'll put that to the test.
Dimples by the Del Reys. There. The Del Reys.
I laughed out loud at his
Dimples.
voice.
You did laugh out loud and you rocked your head back and kicked your leg in the air.
Slapped my belly.
You did indeed. Yes.
Yeah, why is he singing like that? He's sort of cartoonish.
Mate, it sounds like it was the 50s or the early 60s and they were just wild, crazy cats.
I have to say, a lot of your music choices here aren't particularly troubling any time past the sort of Suez Canal crisis.
Well, you expecting me what to play? The Blue Tones and Stone Roses?
No, I'm just saying, like, is that you don't have to be defensive.
Well, this is the music I listen to.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is that like useful for writing? Like, is that where you're sort of
well, that one, for instance, I would probably, if I'm doing a tune, I'd say to my engineer, that guitar sound, I'm terrible at getting sounds in the studio. I'd say, how do we get that guitar sound? And my engineer, strange boy, Stacey, is exceptional at getting guitar sounds. So yeah, but I don't listen to indie music. Do you listen to indie music?
No, you don't.
Do you, Neil? You do? Okay, you have to because you work here, don't you? No, it's rare I listen to indie music.
When was the last time you listened to the Stone Roses, like put an album on?
Well, I was listening to Fool's Gold the other day. Wouldn't class that as indie music, but listen to that album all the way through. I've not listened to that album all the way through for years. Although Sarah was listening to it the other day and she said, my God, she hadn't heard it for years and it's amazing. But I actually might do that. I might do that tomorrow because that first track, I Want to Be Adored, is really brings me back to those early gigs. They've always came onto that tune, always.
Right.
And when my old mate Manny used to play that bass line, it was kind of haunting and it would put me right back in the International when they were, I mean, I've always said this, but they were the greatest band I've ever seen in a nightclub, ever. They were unbelievable at the time.
Were you a roadie then? Were you in the music business?
No, I wasn't in the game when I first seen them, but they were in what's regarded as their goth period.
Yeah.
Was
that like John Squire being arty-farty and Jesus American?
Well, the Manchester look, I'd say they were the last people to adopt that in Manchester.
Oh, really?
Yeah. When Manny joined, Manny looked like us, and they looked like rock stars, like 80s rock stars. And then as the drugs changed, it all changed. You know, everything went a bit baggy.
Yeah.
But I first seen them in the International One, when there was hardly anyone there, and I mean they were amazing then, and they had 2 guitarists then. I think a guy called Andy Cousins, but they were the best band I've ever seen in a nightclub ever. Although Oasis were pretty good indoors in little nightclubs when we started, we'd push them close.
But when you were watching the Stone Roses then, were you like, I want to do that, I want to get up there, or were you just a fan?
No, I never had any. No. I always thought, right, that somehow I was destined to be involved in music, but I couldn't really play the guitar, and I didn't have any ambitions to write or anything like that. But I was really into music, and when I met Graham Lambert from the Inspiral Carpets, and I ended up working for them, I thought that was it. I thought, oh, my destiny has come true, and I settled for that. It was great, and then I got fired for being a little bit cheeky to the singer.
Really?
Yeah.
Was that story?
Have I told you the story?
No, I don't know the story.
So we were crossing a border. Back in the 80s, you used to have to cross. We'll have to go through it now every time we go onto the continent now with Brexit. But we used to. We were crossing a Spanish border, and the police got on with dogs and all that kind of thing. And I remember you've been in my tour bus, right? Where you got the aisle and you've got the 3 bunks either side. I remember as they were getting off, having my arm on the singer's shelf on his bunk, and the little curtain went back, and he went, "Oh no way, was that the Rosses?" And he said, "There's the drugs on the bus," and I said, "Yeah, don't worry about it." And he said, "Where did you hide them?" And I put my hand under his pillow and said, "Under your pillow," which didn't go down too well. I was relieved of my duties at the end of that tour. But me and Mark Coyle, who ended up co-producing Definitely Maybe, was our sound engineer. Me and him got sacked at the same day. Cheeky little beggars.
How did he sack you? Like pull you in?
They just the Inspirals, because there was 5 of them. One of them would always say, "Look, it's not me, it's the other 4."
Oh, really?
And one of them would turn up.
I liked you putting drugs under my pillow. I thought that was a great prank.
Yeah, look, mate, it's not me. I love you, but it's the other 4, which is something that Oasis adopted because we had to sack a few members down the years. It'd be, "Look, mate," except I used to say, "Look, it's not the other 4, it's me. You're out." Should we take a question or play a tune?
Well, we've been talking for a while. What do you want to play a tune?
Okay, right. I'm going to say that we're going to play...
Is this going to be from the 50s or the 60s?
This is going to be from the 60s. This is by Mark and the Mysterons. Or is it question mark and the Mysterons? I don't know. And it's called Do Something To Me. And it is, frankly, one of the best, most unknown tunes ever. There. Do Something To Me by question mark and the Mysterons or the Mysterians, whatever they are.
I like it.
Oh, what?
I like it. I
It's
like that song.
Mate, that's life affirming.
Yeah. It is, I know, and I like it, but like...
I mean...
It's quite
I don't know whether
gentle.
you know this, Radio X listeners, but Matt is into some really dreadful music, like black metal and
It's not black
Norwegian
metal.
punk
No.
nonsense. Yes, you are.
Norwegian, you sound like
But
such
funnily
an
enough,
operandus.
loves I Flying Birds.
Yeah. I've
Which
always
are-
liked songs like
Yeah,
Talk
which
Tonight
like when
and
you-
stuff like that.
But when you
Yeah, but I like lots of stuff. I
busting
like
out
Leonard
nonsense
Cohen
like
and Bob
Big
Dylan.
Elf, it's kind of like makes me think, hang on a minute.
I wish I'd never sent you that Big Elf song. He
Never
never
heard
forgets it. The amount of things I've said.
It's pure evil, which clearly isn't. Right? So it's a nonsense premise
Yeah,
for
but
a song anyway.
that little melody's stayed with you. All
Well, it
these
has,
years.
yeah.
Yeah.
I listened to it repeatedly I couldn't get it out of my head. Money is pure evil. Money is pure evil. Money is pure evil. Anyway, shall we take a question from these
Let's
listeners?
take a question.
All right, Noel. Andy Young from Ponty in West Yorkshire here. Out of all of your big shot celebrity mates, who has got the reputation for being a top slurper and all-round party animal, but actually turns out is a complete lightweight? And likewise, who has got the reputation for being mild-mannered and quiet, and actually turns out to be a top...
No, I sense What was his name?
Andy.
Andy. What did he say? What did he say? So-called celebrity. What did he say?
He's saying, which celebrity friend?
No, he said he put a little snidey thing in there, didn't he? I'm kind of sensing a bit of resentment from him there. But then again, he is from Yorkshire, so that's understandable.
It's hard to tell if they're being grumpy or just...
The what?
Well, it's a grumpy-sounding accent, isn't it? It's hard to tell if he's... I don't think he's having a dig. I think he's just genuinely...
Play it again. I'll play it. Let me decide if he's having a pop or not.
Come on.
All right, Noel. Andy Young from Ponty in West Yorkshire.